that dream is green. And I don't mean material things. Freedom to the land, child, woman, and man. As we take up for what we stand. Better days and better nights. As we stand and unite. We're one and the same. Why is it so hard not to point and to blame? Better sheet, get our houses in order and we'll see the peace. There are steps that we must take if we wanna see.
I see my people rising, no more stopping us. A couple billion acres across America, us. The peace rose for the sake of us.
The sake of us, the sake of us.
I see my people rising, no more stopping us. A couple billion acres across America, us. The peace rose for the sake of us. No more failing, telling me beneath. What a beautiful moment, and a sight I can't wait to see. Even if I miss it, at least I wasn't part of the mission. Changing lives of men, women, and children. All glory goes to He that causes us all to be. Oh, and if they're thinking we can, we show them that. Just as long as we stand, a monument. We the people can't be broken as long as we stay focused. I see my people rising, no more stopping us. A couple billion acres across America, us. The peace rose for the sake of us. For the sake of us. I see my people rising, no more stopping us. A couple billion acres across America, us. The peace rose for the sake of us. I see my people rising, yeah.
Shalom, shalom, everyone. Pray everyone is doing well today. Welcome to Fabz Chat. I am Nasika Amuna, or Princess Amuna, and I have my lovely host here.
Shalom, shalom. It is Yasmin Shamar, Abayit Shamar. Shalom lekulam.
Pray everyone is doing well. So we're going to get to it. But first, we just want to make sure that we have shared this in all the communities that it needs to be shared in. And we ask that if you think our segments have been meaningful to you, we ask that you would please share them with someone you think that might enjoy them as well. Today, we're going to talk survival. You all will understand when we get into it. We're going to talk survival. But yes, please go ahead and give us some shaloms or some what's up, whatever you feel is appropriate for you to greet us. We want to give you all a shalom from us to you all. And we want to say thank you or toda for tuning in. My lighting is looking a little different today, but we're here, right? We're here. We are here. I'm not sure if you're speaking, but you're on mute.
I was just laughing. I was like, yeah.
All right, well, you all, we're going to get started in just a moment. Again, let's take this time to go ahead and get it shared. We do have some icebreakers that we're going to start with, but we usually like to have a good little audience before we start those icebreakers. While I get this shared, do you mind introducing the people what we'll be talking about today? Just a little bit of what we're going over.
I don't mind at all. So today, as Nasika Amuna said, we will be talking about survival. And we'll be sharing some tips, even some little questions, to ask you, kind of, pick your brain, see, what all type of things you would like to do. What is your understanding of survival when it comes to different skills and things that can be had, knowing what's safe to eat, what's not safe to eat, and just being able to, share our experiences for those that may know and those that may not know. We had time of homesteading, being living on raw land. So that was a very interesting, part, and that I believe we will be able to share with everyone. And, hope you all enjoy the segment. Hope you can get something from it. Hope you can share something as well. Because that is what we also want to do is, provoke thought, as well as have others be able to share again your experiences, whether it's, things that you've grown, knowing about wild edibles, how to identify, certain plants and things like that. And even just, again, just wanted to ask, some interesting questions. If you had to choose, this or that out of weapon, not so much as weapons, but tools and things, to kind of go through a night in the woods, like what would you like to use? Like what are some things that you all can think of? And
Yeah.
So without giving away the whole,
That was
that
great.
one.
That was a great breakdown. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get into these icebreakers. All right, so give me a second to get my screen shared, you all. And again, this is Fabz Chat. We do this every Wednesday at 4:15 p.m., sometimes 4:10, but depending on our schedule, how our days are going, 4:15 p.m. Eastern Time. All right, so let's get this shared. All right. I probably, let me remove this really quickly. Okay, we're going to do this the right way today. We're going to do this the right way. All right, so yeah, we're going to do this the right way. All right, this may look a little small. Please tell me if this gets bigger as I zoom in. Is it zooming in?
Not for me. To me, it just looks the same.
It looks the same. All right. I don't know. Oh, maybe that's just for me. That's just for me for zooming in. All right. So I don't know how to make this clear, but I guess I can read them out. I'll read them out. So the first is Get to Know Me Weekend Edition, this or that. We are looking at this or that. So it's just whichever one you prefer. All right. So the first one, I'll go ahead and ask for my sister. This or that. Are you a Saturday person or a Sunday person? Or as we say, Shabbat person?
I mean, you probably already know the answer to this one.
Yeah.
I will say I am a Shabbat person, also known as a Saturday person. As a time away from work.
Oh, yeah.
Time away from not just like, like the work schedule work, but time away from other tasking things and other work related things, or even just like business related things. Like the Shabbat for us is a time where we rest from all the things we've already endured through for the past 6 days. So I will say I am a Shabbat, also again known as a Saturday person.
Okay, I definitely concur. She pretty much summed it up like, say, yeah, all those other days we're working or we're doing something. And the Shabbat is just a time, like you say, to relax from the hustle and bustle of the week. Of course, you can relax on Sunday, but like we literally have an appointed time just set apart for us to rest, whether it's doing ministry, but there's no work included in that. So definitely Shabbat over Saturday. All right, now that we have everything from our icebreakers down, we're just going to go ahead and move forward. Let me take this off the screen and let's get back to it. All right. So that. All right. Are you seeing it normally? I feel
We're
like
not fitting all the way in the boxes.
I don't understand why. All right, so that's better. All right, you all. So we're going to be talking about a little bit about survival. We have some videos that we're going to pull up because, like my sister said, it's good to know how to do certain things. Like if the lights go out for a long period of time, I know for some people it might be a no-brainer, some things to do, but everybody's not really everyone's not really well adjusted in that area to know exactly what to do. So we're going to look at a few videos just on some tips and things that you can do if the power goes out, whether you prepare for it now for it, or whatever things you may have in your house. Like you literally may have some things in your house already that you can use if you have a power outage or if you have certain things go on. There's this one I want to share. It's emergency power outage DIY candle. I've seen this one done a few times, and there are different ways to make DIY candles, but this one to me was so unique because I feel like everybody. Uh-huh.
Sorry, your screen is frozen. I don't know if you might be in the process of sharing something. Oh, wow. Now you've just started moving, but you were frozen.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I was pulling up. I was getting ready to pull up a YouTube video, but I don't know. It just froze. You could still hear me, or it was.
Yeah, I could hear you. Like your screen was just frozen, but now it's like it was like the way you're moving now. It's like it was never frozen. Like I'm telling fibs. But no, it's better now. Sorry, no, though it's good. I wasn't sure if you were already like in the process of sharing the screen, but it was just frozen. So I just wanted to see.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know why I was doing that. So let's try to get this shared. This is a YouTube video, and it's a short. It's a short. So she's doing a DIY candle. Did I freeze again when I went off?
You did.
Okay. All right. So we'll just keep going. Just let me know what it's doing going forward. Because this is literally in another tab.
Okay, so it's
all right. So this is what we have to do first. I have to go to it first before I even share my screen. All right. So this is the video that we're going to be looking at. And this is a DIY emergency candle.
Power goes out, you'll probably need a better candle than something like this. Complete. I'll show you.
Can everything be heard? Can you see that? And can you hear it?
I can see it. I can hear it. Can it be turned up a little more, or is that the highest?
I believe I can turn it up higher. Hold on. Where's my volume? Okay, volume's there. Yeah, I can turn it up. I'll start it over.
When the power goes out, you'll probably need a better candle than something like this. Come with me. I'll show you what to do. Grab a glass. Put some rice in. Add water to your rice. And top it off with vegetable oil. Then grab a Q-tip and place it in. Now you light the Q-tip. Your candle will remain lit endlessly. If you don't want to be in the dark, take a second and subscribe to the channel. Let's get to 300,000 subscribers together.
So that was a cool video. Again, she used rice, water, vegetable oil, and then she used a Q-tip. Now, I did read the comments because there were individuals saying make sure it's not a plastic Q-tip because you want the cotton to just keep burning like you would with the wick. So I saw people said just use all cotton Q-tips. And I thought this was really cool because I feel like everybody has rice as a staple. Most people have cooking oil and water. You can use water. Now, if you're somebody who's experiencing this in the winter where your pipes might be frozen, you could just still use bottled water or Yeah, you can use water, any other type of source of water you may have. And if you have a stream, you could just use stream water, which would be very, very helpful. So yes, I thought that this one was good because again, I believe a lot of people have this in their staples, and it's a good way to just come up with a candle if you didn't happen to shop for candles. All right. I believe you have a video you had wanted us to watch.
Parts of it, yes. It's a lengthy video. I would have liked to have been able to have it broken down, but I think we can choose portions to look at, and if we want to just like look at it in sections, then we can do it like that.
Okay, cool.
But yes, I do have a video.
It's here on WhatsApp?
Yes, I sent it to you earlier.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and pull this up and just let me know what marker to start at.
All right, let me go to where I have it. Because it's like 25 minutes long, but I think like with the YouTube videos is how you can see where a certain conversation will take place. So let me see with the way it's done. I think we can, let me see, maybe the first, oh, looks like it shows it shows how to make it and how to harvest it as well. So, so yeah, it's like if you could just start it, I just closed out a tab that has some other things in it. I didn't mean to do that. You're muted.
I'm going to go ahead and bring it up, and you just let me know where you want me to start or where you want me to go, Just let me know, pause it. Let me take this down and then bring it back up again. Right. Again, this one is called Let's Talk Survival. There are a lot of quick tips in here that we can all look at and get something from it. Again, if you're someone who's already prepared for everything, that is super cool. But if you're somebody who has not really put much thought into that, then this video and these videos and this conversation can provoke you to think about those things. All right, so here we are. I'm going to go ahead and press play, and you just let me know when.
Okay.
Join some R&R by the campfire. But my God, you've just run out of marshmallows. So what will you do? Starve to death? No, sir, not today. As here are 25 of the most common edible plants, fruits and trees that you can eat while out in the wilderness. First up, we have the primrose, aka Primula vulgaris. One of the first plants to emerge during the spring, but often as early as winter, the woodland-dwelling primrose is an abundant source of food during seasons where that can be scarce. An impressive and bushy plant composed of numerous tongue-shaped leaves and pale yellow flowers. But to accurately identify a plant, you must scrutinize over its smaller, finer details. Its leaves are broad and are deeply crinkled and craggy in texture. It has a prominent white midrib running down the length, while underneath it is a much paler shade of green with a light coating of fuzzy hairs. And its pale yellow flowers have 5 individual notch petals that turn an egg yolk yellow towards the base. And unlike many other plants, its leaves do not grow out of the flower stems, nay, instead they are a basal rosette, meaning that they all grow out of the ground in a somewhat circular cluster. And once all of those features have been met, then you can be certain that it is a primrose. And what a delight that would be, as all parts of this plant are edible. The flowers and stalks can be eaten raw, as can the craggy and crinkled leaves, which have a pleasant and slightly sweet taste, very similar to that of lettuce. And although it is a spring bloomer, this plant can also be found throughout the summer and far into autumn, so there is certainly no shortage. You may also find these in orange or violet coloured varieties, but pale yellow is the most common colour. But if the leaves and flowers don't quite fill you up, then you may be interested in its large and extensive root network. stick your knife in the ground and pull up the lot to reveal the noodle-like network of tasty edible roots. Full of carbs and high in energy. Just take them down to the stream to rinse away any dirt, then you've got yourself a ginormous mound of survival food. Full of carbs, calories, sugars, starch, and fiber, the bountiful primrose is a substantial source of life-sustaining nourishment. And considering that it is more or less available all year round, then that makes it an absolutely essential edible plant to become familiar with. But pro tip, although everything you see here is edible, that does not necessarily mean that it is clean. And so, if you have the option, then you should always boil your foods first in a cup of water to clean and partially cook them. This is not essential, but it is a best practice. And that applies to all of the items I'll be showing you today. So,
All right. Yeah. I think I'm going to go to the rest of them in portions. I was supposed to start talking with an accent.
That was really interesting. And I like he gave the tips on, for cleaning it. Hold on, let me just take this down real quickly. He gave tips for cleaning it off and what parts to eat are safe and even their variety. But like you say, if you just want to stay safe and what's most familiar, the primrose, with the yolky inside and then the 5-leaf flower. I think that's something that's probably easy to come by if you were just to go outside and scavenge for it. It would be something that you'd be able to easily pick out. You got any comments on that?
Kane, I was wondering if I had a book close by. Something too to note about the different like wild edibles is finding what is known to grow in your area. If you can get books, if you can get the flashcards, these are definitely, I will say, our go-tos as well for survival is having books again or flashcards, and I will say physical copies of things because it's like, okay, say if you can't access your phone, as long as you have a book, as long as you have some type of a physical, I'll even just say utilize it like a map, then you will be able to compare the different pictures. There are a variety of books. I prefer ones when they talk about the wild edibles, they will also let you know which ones to avoid. The books that show the comparison, but they also let you know, because quite a few wild edibles have what considered almost like negative doppelgangers because they can be poisonous. So it's important to get the books that will show you the likes, the similarities, and then the differences again, as well as, how to clean them, how to take care of them before you eat them, before you make it into a tea, before you put it on your skin. So yes, that's what I'll have to say with that. I enjoy primrose. Primrose has an interesting smell. Yes, and I find it to be a very useful and very helpful plant. You can make it into the oil, and it's great for women's health. Great for hormone balance.
Oh, that's good.
The oil gel tablets.
It sounds like he named a lot of nutritional value with that. He said there's carbs in it, there's sugars in it, healthy sugars. And let's just say for someone who might be in a situation, and like we pray this is never us, we pray this is never you, like what would you be doing in the bushes by yourself? But then again, you never know. But that is something that I feel like has a lot of nutritional value that can fill you up, as he said, give you energy to keep going if you happen to be lost in the woods. Again, that one was titled Primrose. The name of that edible plant was primrose. But as my sister said, a lot of these healthy and safe plants do have poisonous doppelgangers. So you just want to get familiar with what is edible and what is not edible, especially what's within your area. And I think that's something to do. So again, we're just talking about Let's Talk Survival. This is like if you happen to be in a situation, we talk about wilderness experiences all the times, or possible blackouts or things of that nature. Or if you're just going on a hike and you might get lost, that's very possible. It happens a lot. You want to know what's edible. And then you just also want to know, what's good, what's bad, and what's questionable. Hello. Let me make sure I put the comments on so you can see. Hello, and welcome.
Shalom, welcome.
All right. Right now, we're just talking about survival. We're just talking about some small tips. I think that this was inspired, one, by us having experience on land and still needing to learn a lot more, but also even with the past events of the storms that happened. It wasn't bad for everyone, but there were some individuals who got way more snow than we did. There was a lot of people who did have to stay in longer. There were people who did have blackouts. Um, so we're just thinking about some things that would be great to share. One of the things I shared earlier was a candle made out of rice, water, vegetable oil, and then a Q-tip. But make sure it's all cotton Q-tip because the plastic, I think with the plastic, it'll stop burning at a certain point. But that was a very, very brilliant idea because, like I said, I think everybody has rice. Everybody has cooking oil, or the majority of the people have it. And so now this thing about it, there are a lot of people who don't consume vegetable oil anymore. You can literally just buy it now as an emergency staple. You can buy it as an emergency staple. So if you don't want to eat with it, that's what I would do. I'm gonna look into it, because you never know. You might have one of those days you just need an oil lamp. And I know growing up, oil lamps were a lot better than candles. I feel like oil lamps take longer to go out. I think they take longer to go out. But there's another video that we are going to share, but we're going to do another icebreaker really quickly. There's a video that I want to share, and it's just like a little prep box for emergencies, a box that you actually prepare and then you set to the side. But let's get to our icebreaker. Again, you all, I'm not very certain why this is so small, but I'll just call it out to you all, even if you can't see it. So we went over this or that. We already did the first one. The second one is brunch or dinner.
You can go first with this one. I went first with the first one, so you can go first with the second one.
I'm trying to see. I do love my dinners. And I do love a good brunch. I'm trying to think. Brunch or dinner. Maybe I'm just going off the way how I feel now. I'm going to say brunch.
Okay. This or that. Okay. Say weekend. Oh, this is the weekend edition. I would say a weekend dinner. I enjoy brunch on the weekend, but I think, like for me, I think I put more into dinner on the weekend than I do brunch sometimes. Brunch will be light, but I will have to say dinner.
Okay,
Weekend.
I can see that. So if you all want to participate, again, this is open for everyone to participate. Are you a this or that person? So this is weekend edition. Are you a brunch or a dinner person on the weekend? And I love my brunches. I just feel like the brunches can be like more colorful and more thought can be put into them because I feel like throughout the week, whether you're working or whatever the case may be, but more likely if you're working, you don't have as much time to put into your lunch or to put into your breakfast. It's more like when it's time to eat, crunch time type of thing. So that's why I said brunch. But I'm just going off of how I feel right now. If I really think about it later, it might be different. But right now, I'm just feeling brunch. All right, we can do the next one, and then we can get into the next video. All right. So read or party?
What kind of party? If it's somewhere for the weekend. Read on the weekend or party on the weekend. That sounds adventurous. I'm trying to see.
It depends.
I'm gonna say it depends. So it depends on if we're having like a family get together party for the weekend, then I can say like a family party get together for the weekend. I do enjoy reading, and I think a family party on the weekend. I think I would have to say if it's like that, a weekend party, weekend get together family party.
Yes, because those that may know us, even if you just know it by association, you don't personally know us, I don't think you would think that we meant like college party. No, like when we're thinking about party, like my sister said, a get together on the weekend because it's either a Shabbat party which that's not happening because that's Shabbat, or it's just a Sunday get together for those that just want to spend time on their off time. So I'm gonna go with the same thing she said. Party. Now, if it's the Shabbat, then reading definitely. But like she said, just considering everyone being in different places now, the get-togethers being a little less far in between, I would definitely say a weekend party with the family. It's a family party, y'all. It's a family. All right, we're gonna go ahead and stop sharing this, and we're gonna get to another video. We're gonna get to another. All right, y'all. Again, this is just talking. Let's talk survival. There are some things, like I said, I believe that we should know, just in case you need it on. You may not have the things that you need on hand, but you do have a few essentials that you can just wrap something up real quickly. I'm one of those type of people. My sister said it, but I forgot the word. Do you remember Tale of Unfortunate Events? The sister, there's a novel that was out. Hey, Keisha, welcome, welcome. Shalom, shalom. A Tale of Misfortunate Events or something like that. And the sister, she was very ingenuitive. So she would start tying up her ponytail whenever she got an idea. And a lot of times it happened whenever there was a situation that needed an idea to something to be fixed, them to get out of a life-threatening situation. But I can't think of. I'm sporadic. I can be sporadic when it comes to ideas, especially if there are things I don't have on hand. And that definitely comes in handy. Like when I'm just thinking of something, I'm like, you know what? I want to cook this tonight. And I'm like, I don't have that, but I can substitute it with another recipe or with another seasoning. I think that's the type of person I am when it comes to just whether it's building or ideas. So I like these things here because you may have some of these things already in your home to help you if something like this just happened. All right, so the next thing we're going to look at, you all, and please forgive me if my screen goes out, but it shouldn't go out because I think okay, great. Am I chopping up or am I normal?
You're frozen.
All right, I thought it had something to do with the browser, but all right, we're just going to keep going. So we're looking at how to build a kit for emergencies. And this is just a container, again, that you can just have and then just set it aside for if you happen to have an emergency. All right, let's get this started. We're going to share. How to build an emergency kit. All right, so this person said they learned this from FEMA. Can you see my screen? Is everything being shared here?
Kane, I can see it. It's coming through clearly.
All right, great. So this isn't too long of a video. Again, just pay attention to the things that he's putting in the box. And if you're watching this and like, I could put something else in there. Again, this is just a base for if you already don't have this set aside. You could put whatever you feel is necessary to put in there, but I thought this would be a great idea starter. All right, so he put some gloves in there just in case you all can't see it or someone comes in a little later. Garbage bags. And it says store in a cool, dry location in your home that is easily accessible. All right. So I like that because he was able to pack it up. And again, I feel like you can do that, and okay, no problem. Do what you have to do. We're just grateful that you're on to listen with us. With that video, I feel like it was, like I said, I think it was just a starter for people that may have that idea, because I was looking at a lot of things that he put in there, and I had ideas like, okay, well, you could put that in there too, but he put some essential things in there, especially the snacks, because again, and the medication. I like that he put the snacks and medication in there, because anybody that is familiar with medication, a lot of medication you can't take on an empty stomach. Even if you don't have food, it has to be something with maybe a little fat and something with a little sugar. And it looked like he put those healthy peanut butter bars in there. And to my knowledge, peanut butter does have a fat content. Now, again, there are plenty of people allergic to peanut butter. So you would just have to think of something else that has fat in it that you can store in there if you have medication that you have to take. All right. Sister, would you like to take over?
Kane. So just thinking about, keeping something like that in a safe and dry space. When he had the matches, and like if you want to get lighters, if it can be gotten, I think getting things that are waterproof matches, I think would be good. And just noticing like the manual can opener. When putting things together, like for survival, is, have you noticed, is usually the most what we consider like primitive, type things. It's things that you have to put more effort into doing yourself, versus, it just kind of been like, press a button and it's done. But getting things, if it can be gotten, waterproof, again, like the waterproof matches, waterproof fire starters, different things like that, are helpful. I would even just think of like thermal socks, for those, that may take medication, or those that, might have certain things like with their sugar, like there are certain type of socks that they would need. And so, I think that was a really informative video. And again, just, using it as a foundation, but then also being able to just put in certain necessities according to, what everyone needs, for, like you say, those bars that were gotten. There are bars similar to it that can be gotten to where, maybe someone can't do something with chocolate, might not be able to have like the peanuts, or even if they might have like maybe a fish oil, because some do put, like you say, that to make sure they have the healthy fats, the omega-3s, they'll put like fish oil in some of them. So just finding what is safe and what works for you is very much so doable. And I think even just showing, like say, the medication, that is something that's needed, because just thinking about when blizzards happen, snowy days happen, and people cannot, like, you can't go out to get these certain things, having these emergencies on hand, these emergency items on hand, I think it'll make, it'll bring some ease. It'll bring some comfort to be like, we have this we can access, of course, having water stored up and knowing how to be able to safeguard and keep that water for a certain amount of time is definitely a necessity, especially if it gets to the point where pipes are frozen. Like, pipes freeze, then it's like, what can you do for, sources of water? But having these things on hand, I think is really helpful, so that was good.
Oh, that was a good breakdown. And yeah, for people that may not be familiar with having a freeze in your town or wherever you are, one of the things that you can do to prevent that from happening overnight, and some of you may be well familiar with it, but I know there are a lot of people that don't know, you are supposed to keep your pipes dripping. So you would go to your faucet, you don't let it pour out a lot, but just tap it enough to where you see it constantly having a drip. That could be in your bathroom, wherever you have a sink. Now, again, it depends on how cold. In South Carolina, here and down south, it gets like 19 and things like that. To my knowledge, I believe that's the coldest it's ever been, to my knowledge. And it will freeze. It will definitely freeze. So having those pipes dripping to the best of your abilities. Now, in places where it gets a lot colder than that, I can't give you any advice on that because I'm not from up there. I don't know if that definitely works, because you could have them things drip and probably wake up in the morning and you have some crystals, some little icicles in there. So I wouldn't give advice for places that I just don't know if that works. But I know down south, That's what we do. We let them drip so that the pipes don't burst and that the pipes don't freeze. Because you don't want that. It's very um it's bad. It's bad when you can't use your water, not because your water is off, but because your pipes are frozen. All right.
Mhm.
Look like you want to add something to that.
Oh yeah, just agreeing, like you say, keeping that pipe kind of, it's like keeping it lubricated.
Hmm.
It's just keeping that water running. Like say, I don't know if it's the same for places where it gets colder than that, because I have seen where it's like the water in the sink will be like, it'll be ice in their sink, and so
Yes.
yeah, that I'm not, I'm not too sure of that, but just for those situations, the only thing I can really say is having like that backup water,
Hmm.
having those extra sources of water. So if like when it's needed, you can utilize it, and even keeping that in a safe space to where it can remain room temperature without being frozen.
Yeah.
Because of this way, when we had the snow come through, it was, I don't know, it had gone to like 10 when
Goodness
we had the
gracious.
snow. Yeah, it was like 10, but felt like 7. I said, then it's 7 degrees outside. But hubby had a bottle of water out in the vehicle and it was frozen just from sitting out in the car. We had frozen water, frozen jugs of water in the car. And he was like, it's frozen. I was like, yeah, that it is. So I'm like, that means we would have to, like where we keep and where you place the water is going to be important as well, to make sure you don't just have sources of water, but make sure
Hmm.
they are safely stored away and out of, the temperature and the elements, so that they are not also frozen and then you just have frozen water all around. So
Yeah, no, that's cold, cold.
cold,
That is
yeah.
cold. But
My
there
hands.
are so. Go ahead. I'm sorry. What'd you say?
Oh no, you're right. I said my hands was hurting. I was like, this is cold.
Goodness gracious. And we had a few adventures, like you say, when we were staying on land or when we had land and we would just go there for some time to go and tend to it. It gets really cold. Like I say, I feel like the more up north you are, the colder your nights were gonna be. I felt like we were having Arabian nights. Like it was warm in the morning, but then at night we were just destined to have a cold night, especially if you're closer to the mountains, you all. If you're closer to the mountains or you're closer to where the what is it? Not plains, where the land shifts up. Not exactly a mountain, but the land starts to go up. It's going to be colder at night.
Like
It's
just
going
the
to be
higher
colder.
elevation.
Yes, thank you, Toda. Yes, higher elevation. Um, I think the what was it? The coldest it was out there one day was like 44. 44. And oh, one of those tips in the video that we saw with the guy packing the box, he had those survival blankets.
Like the thermal
Survival,
blanket. Was it
yeah.
thermal blanket? Okay.
He had thermal blankets. Those thermal blankets will do a lot, and I feel like that's what the firefighters do when they, you ever seen the movies or even in real life after a event has happened, they'll get the people whose adrenaline might still be high, and they take those blankets. I think those blankets are warmed up for the people, and they just get their nervous system back in order. Because I know our father told us that when certain things are happening, what is it? I think they used to have those bears that were like warm because they warm your core. When things are happening with you, like you'll see this with puppies or even newborn babies, a lot of times they're warming up that chest area because you need to keep your core warm. You need to keep your core warm, especially for survival. We even saw that in the movie, one of our favorite apocalyptic movies, The Day After Tomorrow.
Yes. Oh my goodness. After he was in that ice cold water,
Hmm.
usually people are like, oh, it's so cold. And it's just like, yeah, your arms will be okay. You have to make sure that the blood does not rush too fast to the heart, because
Yeah.
then it'll be an overload. So yeah, keeping the core. I would even just we're talking about the core is having also like what do they call them, like the long johns, like emergency layers
Oh yes.
clothing. Yeah, having emergency layers, like think cabins, things, like old timey movies where
Yes.
you see them and like they have like a whole jumpsuit under their attire.
Hmm.
Having different things like that, to keep warm and to keep the body well insulated, like that's very important. And then knowing what the fabric and what the material is. like the ones that breathe but will also keep you warm and things like that, like your cotton, your wool,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. Like that makes a world of a difference. Like being up here again in Virginia when it's cold, like like one of my favorite go-tos is a wool trench coat. Or is or like a cotton hat, because it's like you can feel it, it cuts the wind, it cuts the air, it cuts the cold. And 'cause goodness gracious, I don't know about anybody else, but like I'll be shivering in my boots, like my bones be cold. I was like, it is cold. But like what you wear and how you wear it is another way of being able to maintain, like say even when we were like on the homestead, the way we had to, dress when we went to sleep and be ready, to get up and put on the layers when we woke up. Like that was very important because it would get really cold, and you have to make sure that when it comes to sleeping, when it comes to resting in the cold, that you can rest comfortably, even if you have to be in the cold, because like that's something that you don't want to take lightly, and yeah, because it can become dangerous, so having everything in place, or having as much as you can in place to the best of your abilities, a major step towards being well fortified. So.
Yes. And again, you can even have these things if you have a power outage in your home. It's not just about if you're going to live on land or you want to go camping. Like if you're in your home and like I say, you might be stuck. I saw this family, they actually camped in their own home. They put the tents out on the bed. They put the insulated sleeping bags in the tent for the children because it kept everybody warm. Like these are the things that certain families, when it was getting too cold in different areas, these are the things that they had to do. They had to go into survival mode within their house because they'll have the things. But again, you can have a lot of things, but if you don't have electricity, I don't want to say you're out of luck because I don't really use the word luck, but you're going to be kind of left hanging there. And then a lot of people, they do get generators. I would definitely say generators are important to get, but there are some generators that are just super loud. We had one. It was great, but that generator was so loud. But they also have that it's like something called a generator box. You can make a box for if you have a loud generator and you put the generator in the box, and it just keeps out some of the noise. Of course, they have generators that aren't as loud, but there are all type of generators that you can get. But also just knowing how to, if you didn't have that, how to stay warm without it is important too. Because again, you just never know. What if you're out of town and something happens? You just want to know these things. I think they're important just to have, they're just important to have. Really important to have. So let's see. We're going to go ahead and do another icebreaker. Let's do another icebreaker. All right, you all. So the next one is inside or outside. Oh, we already. It's your turn, though.
And whether it's the weekend or whether it's just the regular days of the week, outside. Definitely enjoy spending the weekends outside, especially when it's just like, okay, you're just relaxing, enjoying the breeze, even when it is a bit chilly. Like sometimes like the cool air, or sometimes I'll say cold because it's not just cool. Sometimes the cold air, outside is nice and it is refreshing. So definitely outside.
All right. So I'm going to say it's the same. Outside. I love the outdoors. Okay, so Keisha said both. Okay, I can see that. That's right. My goodness gracious. She says she don't do bugs.
Oh my
goodness. Yes. So it's definitely outside. I love the outdoors. I just love the fresh air. I love the colors. I love everything about being outside. I mean, the bugs, when they're not messing with you, they're perfectly fine. But it's just good to have them little repellents that'll keep the mosquitoes. And then I don't like flies. I loathe flies. Like since I was a little girl, I've hated flies. They They like hovering over things. They like doing stuff on food. It's just everything about them is just detestable. Don't like flies. I don't like them. So it's, of course I love the outdoors, but if there's any complaint, it's the flies. And then there's so many different sizes. You have horse flies, the great big juicy huge flies. Mm-mm. No, no, no. And then I just hate the way it feels when they get on your skin. It's just like the little I don't like, I just really, when I say I loathe flies, I loathe flies. Okay, so we have a shalom, shalom, and welcome in.
Shalom.
I believe it's Melissa Wilkins. She said outside. Oh, absolutely. I love the outdoors. Like I said, my only complaint is the flies. But if you get some nice little herbal, you get some tea tree, you get some, maybe some, what is it? That's for ants. Maybe a little garlic oil. I think that keeps the flies away. Some tea tree. It's something, it's one in there that I'm thinking about. Lavender.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Lavender, chamomile, keep them away.
No.
Bergamot. It says they don't like bergamot, and I love the smell of bergamot. Oh my goodness.
Yes.
So I enjoy the outside. I'm looking forward to the warm lemongrass. Hold on, that is what I was trying to think. I'm like, I know it's
that's what I was thinking about. Okay, yes, it is lemongrass.
And I just could not think of it. That lemongrass, yes. So I enjoy the outdoors.
Mm-hmm.
Biggest thing is as it's getting warm and plants start to grow. And you gotta look out for the wood spiders and the spiders and the orb weevils and anything that is in the arachnid family.
Spiders they're I feel like they're very innocent. They stay to themselves. They're not a I'm gonna attack you type of bug. I feel like everything else out there is fine. It's the ants that are intrusive, the flies that are intrusive. The spiders are fine. They do what they have to do with their web. They really don't go outside of that unless they're looking for a new place.
I beg to differ. Spiders can smell fear. I don't get it.
See, I don't do bugs. Yes, we know you don't do bugs. But there are so many remedies out there or tinctures you can make to just keep the bugs away. All right, so we said inside or outside. We got some good feedback on that. Okay, so I'll come back to this one. We're gonna skip to road trip. What is jet set? I don't know. We're gonna skip that one too because I don't know. I don't know what that is. Okay, so here's one. Let's see. Netflix or hiking? It's gonna be hiking.
Oh yeah, definitely hiking.
Yeah, I definitely don't. I mean, I like Netflix. Oh, flying. Oh well, yeah. So no, not flying for me. It's gonna be road trip. I love road trips. It's not that flying is bad, but I've had 2 bad experiences with flying. So it's road trips. Road trips. What about you?
I think you already know me. You should already know me. Road trips, because to be flying means you have to be in the air. And what does that mean? That means you have to be in a height.
Oh, right. You don't like heights. You're afraid of heights. So it's not even that I appreciate heights. I'm not afraid of heights. It's just when we went on an airplane a few times. I did well. Me and my husband, me and my Ish, we went to Illinois. I did well. We took not a road trip. We took a plane to Texas, and I had a vertigo attack on the plane going and coming. So that right there has just been, that was a terrible experience. Flying the first time was so beautiful. The view, everything was beautiful, you all. And we had a lot of turbulence. But I was fine. But when we took that trip to Texas, that vertigo attack on the airplane, and that was my first time in a long time having a vertigo attack. I just, in the air and spinning, and then the flight attendants didn't exactly know what vertigo was. So that's what I would take a side note. that it's very important to just know certain things. You know, even if you don't know them, learn about them. If you're not familiar with vertigo, it's important to learn what it is, because if you had a family member or someone close to you have a vertigo attack, you would need to know what to do in those instances. And again, I was a little panicky when it first happened because I wasn't expecting it. It wasn't expected at all. The flight attendants, there was like my husband was like, she's is her vertigo messing up? A flight attendant, what's vertigo? Then that made me go a little crazy because I'm like, if no one knows what vertigo is, thousands of feet in the air, nobody knows what vertigo is. I was like, oh, all is lost. I'm sorry. I can laugh about it now, but when it first happened, it was not pretty. It was not pretty at all. But told out to the Most High, we did get through it. We did get through it, but yes, I think it's very important to know. All right, we have some more comments. More Denani says road trips are nice. It's longer and that allows more time to enjoy the journey and different road stops to learn new things. I do love that.
Yes.
Don't like to fly. Land is my friend.
Absolutely agreed, Keisha.
Okay, and Melissa Wilkins says, I can't choose. I love road trips, but I love different destinations as well. Like I can't access driving. Okay, I can see that.
All right.
And she said, okay, I'm surprised they don't have to learn about vertigo. I am too. And Kane, praise Supreme King, because I was just like, you all don't know what vertigo is. And we're all the way up here. They were trying to give me a cool compress for the back of my neck. They were trying to give me, what was it? Nausea pills. And I don't do pills. Gracious.
I was so far away, and I was like, I'm like, let me just do it. And I was like, let me get to her. I know what to do. Like, let me do it.
But you all, what I was sitting next to a and I want to say Indian because I don't really know exactly from what area. She was I don't know if Middle Eastern is the right word, but she was an Indian woman, and I told her what was going on. She said, it's okay. She said, just close your eyes. And what I did was, because I just felt like the effect of the vertigo was messing with my ears. I put my hands on my ears. And then during that time, I was trying to figure out which way to go because my head's spinning, you all. My head's spinning. It's spinning and spinning. And I feel like on the plane, we're going up. So I can feel all that in my stomach, every movement we're making and spinning at the same time. So I put my hands on my ears and I leaned on my husband like this. And eventually it calmed down. And I ended up doing that same step when we were in Texas and we were on our way back. At the time we lived in Georgia. So our plane ride back, it happened again. But this time it wasn't as long because I was able to just repeat what happened because there was no help from the flight attendants, respectfully. But yes, we're going to just go on to the next one. We're going to go on to the next question. Definitely don't want to keep lingering on that. All right, so we have phone or no phone. On the weekend, it depends, but I would say no phone. I feel like if you're around, especially like on the weekend, if it's Shabbat and you're fellowshipping, or on the weekend if you're just with family, that's family time. That's family time.
Yeah.
No phone. Oh, that was quick.
We got two no phones.
Two no phones. Okay, yeah. That was quick.
I would say the same, no phone. I enjoy taking pictures, especially if it's like, we're going to have a good meal together, and different things like that. So I do like to take pictures, but I do also like making it a point to just be in the moment, because it's like taking the pictures and looking at the pictures is different than just experiencing, just being with everybody. Because I'll be quick to like, all right, hold on, I'm about to take a picture. So, but yes, I would say no phone as well.
Mm-hmm. She said, I can unplug. Keisha said, I can unplug. Indeed. I absolutely agree. All right. So we're going to go ahead. Everyone did really well with participating with the icebreakers. We do this every Wednesday or every Yom Revi'i at 4:15 p.m. Eastern Time. Fabz chat. Again, we just come up with different topics that we think should be talked about, while at the same time having fun, laughing, and just discussing things that we think are important. And again, we're talking about survival talk. Earlier, we went over just a few edible plants that you could eat if you were hiking, and we can probably bring that one back up because we didn't go over too many of them. And the first one was primrose. Was it primrose?
The first one was primrose.
Went over primrose. It's an edible plant that you can eat. You can eat the flower, and you can eat as far as to the root.
Right, the whole plant. So I did look through the video, but that I missed that at the beginning. Otherwise, I would not have suggested it. That's
Oh.
on my face. Like, where did this come from? Because I'm like, okay,
I called that too.
I was like, I noticed did not just happen. I'm like, okay, so yeah, that was not supposed to be up there. I mean, though that was put in the video. I was not expecting that because I was looking at I was doing like a look through of the herbs and things like that were displayed because I'm like, oh, I've seen some of these wild plants in person before, and so yeah, when that happened, I was like flabbergasted. So my apologies on that. I don't want anything like that, in the midst of our videos. So I was looking at others because they usually put up the videos like that in large, like it's just like almost like I don't want to say just like a plant dump because that sounds they just do like a long video explanation of all the different plants and the edibles. And so I feel like he pointed out some that are familiar and that can be seen local to many of our areas and things like that. And yeah, again, having it's like extensions. We would look at it for South Carolina when we at the library.
Okay,
finding
yeah.
extensions to learn about the soil, learn about the land. And I did want to just kind of grab one of the books and then just having something like this on hand. I know it's backwards, but the Forager's Harvest.
Oh, I like that.
They have, I know it's so many different books, that can be gotten, but they will show you like the, the good versus the bad. They'll show you, like, again, like because plants are usually going to have kind of like a poisonous doppelganger. Not all of them, but they will have ones, that's not safe to eat for human consumption, but for animals, it's fine. And so, yes, I think this is something, that is important for us to have. Yeah, just being able to, enjoy foraging. If you're going hiking, these are things that you'll know what to touch and what not to touch, because some of the berries that might look edible, they can cause skin rashes and skin irritation. So knowing what's edible as well as what needs to be touched and what does not need to be touched, because again, that can cause some skin irritations. Like poison ivy is not the only plant out there that can cause the skin harm.
Yes, yeah, you're right.
Absolutely. I love foraging too. It's rewarding when you find something like, oh my goodness, this is, what we're looking for. Or it's like, hey, I read about this, and to actually find it.
Yes.
It's so rewarding. So
we're gonna look at some more. And when me and my East travel up to Illinois, they have a whole lot of not thistle. Oh, the flower just left me. The flower kind of looks inverted. It's purple on the top and the leaves come down. It's not thistle.
The cone flower, echinacea?
Echinacea. They have plenty of echinacea, but it's sprayed. So with that, of course, foraging is great, but like foraging, just like driving by different places, if it's on the main roads or the main, or you're driving by a neighborhood and you might see it on the side, that is most likely sprayed. So we do want to say, please be cautious. You can't just forage everywhere. It's so much. I'm talking about, it was a field. It was a field of echinacea, but it was most likely sprayed. I was sad about that. I'm like, all this echinacea and y'all are spraying it. All right, so we're going to go ahead and watch a little more of this foraging. Oops.
Onto the thistle. A familiar sight along the hedgerows and tree lines, the common thistles are easy to spot due to their bulbous eruption of purple flowers, which later turn into those thick clouds of fluffy seed. Notorious for its many prickly spikes, all parts of the plant are covered in unwelcoming spines and prickly bracts, with each of those dark green leaves being host to a very sharp, stiff needle at the end of each lobe. A nuisance to handle, but fortunately for those looking for food, it is the root of the thistle that is edible. In the spring, this is an easier job, but knife in, lift up, and pull out to reveal the thick and substantial lengthy taproots, which are full of carbs, sugars, and calories. A good survival food that contains everything a starving soul would need. You can eat them raw, just like a carrot or a stick of celery, and the leaves and stalks of the thistle are technically edible too, providing that you cut away all of those sharp needles and bracts. Fireweed. Impressively tall and showy. When fully grown, the fireweed plant will stand at upward to 8 feet tall and will often be found growing en masse in ginormous colonies that thrive in woodland clearings and riverbanks. Noticeable from a distance, the purple and green spikes of fireweed will feature smooth, slender stems, which are host to 4-petaled bright purple flowers, a series of diagonally climbing seed capsules, and their signature dark green, lance-shaped leaves. Each leaf is slim, narrow, and pointed, and, much like a primrose, has a significant white midrib running down the length. In the autumn, those seed capsules will split and erupt into seed, resembling thick, fluffy plumes of candy floss, which makes for a good on-the-fly flash tinder if you're ever in need of fire-making materials. All parts of the fireweed plant are edible: the narrow leaves, the shoots, the stems, and the flowers. But the real prize of fireweed is the pith that's found in the center of the stem. So split the stem down the middle and use a knife to scrape out the edible pale green pith, which is full of nutrients and is quite tasty to boot. You can eat it raw, no need to clean, and you may also be surprised to find that it tastes very similar to cucumber. And as an aside, in Siberian culture, the fresh leaves of fireweed are brewed into hot water to make a tea known as kapuri tea. Perhaps a nice refreshing beverage to go alongside your pith. But once you've learned to recognize mature fireweed, then it becomes much easier to spot young fireweed. In the spring, the young shoots of fireweed emerge from the ground, flaunting those slender, lance-shaped leaves and smooth, slender stems, both of which will often have a bright red tinge to them. And as far as edibility is concerned, the redder the better, as those are sweeter in taste. All of these above ground parts are edible raw. You can graze upon the whole lot, but the real prize is beneath the soil. Stick your knife in the ground and pull up the roots, and you will find a humongously long horizontal taproot, which is full of carbs, sugars, and calories, a top-tier survival food. Plus, much like the red foliage, this long, hearty taproot will actually taste quite sweet. So a lucky find for a hungry hiker. Dandelion.
Oh, let's get to the dandelion. I love dandelion.
A familiar face common in all terrains, its bright yellow sunburst flower and large, jagged, teeth-like leaves are easy to identify and are completely safe to eat. The larger, older leaves tend to be quite bitter, and so the smaller, fresher leaves are typically favoured. Once a popular salad green, all parts of the plant are rich in potassium and iron, more so than spinach, and thus a very nourishing plant to consume. But aside from the flowers and leaves, the roots of the dandelion are technically edible too, although are usually far too bitter to enjoy. However, if you were to roast the roots until brown, grind until fine, and then brew into hot water, then you can make yourself dandelion coffee, which is delicious. Lacking in caffeine, mind you, but regardless, it is a very pleasant substitute for the real thing. So while considered a weed and a nuisance in modern life, out here in the wild, the dandelion is a high-value natural resource and is a safe choice for a snack. And as a bonus, the leaves of dandelion are considerably high in iron, a nutrient that is very useful in combating fatigue. Stinging nettles, notorious.
All right, so let's see. Anybody have any comments on those edibles we just previewed? You have anything you want to say?
Absolutely. So I love the idea of foraging. I love the idea of the plants. and all that they can do, all that they provide. Of course, all thanks and praise to the Creator for making these abundant sources of um nutrition and medicine, as well as food. Like, it's looked at as survival food now, but it's just I feel like it's just like food of the earth that we've been given and gifted. And looking at the thistle, like, it's kind of surprising when you take a natural look at the things that are around us that are, again, that was given to us as food and for sustenance and things like that. Like the thistles, like, some people find it annoying and, kind of agitating, but there are certain like herbal physician practices where they take the stinging nettle and they'll take the thistle pieces and they'll actually use it to target arthritis. It's almost like acupuncture, but with a sting. And so it's different types of treatment that, come along with this. So it's exciting for me because you know me, I love the herbs, I love the plants, and what they can do. Yay!
Yeah, thank you for tuning in. And yes, I love dandelion. I love dandelion everything. I love the flowers. I love the root. Like I say, I've had the dandelion root. I feel like it can be a coffee, but like he said, it has to be strong enough. But I just love drinking the dandelion tea itself. I love the dandelion tea. Get a little bit of lemon, a little bit of honey, and now I'm to the point like I really don't add a lot of honey, especially if I'm drinking my teas for a medicinal purpose. I don't even add a lot of honey. I don't add. Sometimes I don't need honey because I get joy off of knowing the benefits of drinking it for my health benefits that I really sometimes just forget the honey. If I want honey, I'll put that in something like my instant coffee or something. But I just really like to drink my tea straight, unless I'm having one of those days where I want it to be super flavorful. But yes, I do love that. The dandelion out of all those is my favorite because I love I think it's arugula. I love the flower, and then I definitely love the root. It's good for your colon. It's good for your body. Yeah, and then he said it has potassium in it. That was actually, I think, my first time hearing that dandelion has potassium in it. But yeah, it's some great things out here. And then they also spray a lot of dandelion as well. So you just still have to be careful where you pick these things. Again, if you're going foraging, of course you can find it in the foraging type of areas. But like if it's just in a city somewhere on the side, I would definitely side eye that and just double check to see if they sprayed those areas. I know growing up, my siblings and I, we always had blackberries. I feel like everywhere we lived here down south, we never had to buy blackberries. As a little girl, we never had to buy blackberries because somewhere in our backyard, side yard, we always had blackberries. Or we would go to this place that our parents used to do broadcast on the radio. The owner had a huge field. He had acres and acres of land. So that was acres of blackberries. We would have bags full of blackberries. Like I said, as a kid, as a child, we never had to buy blackberries. It said, yes, topical stinging nettle and fresh stinging nettle is nettle and salad and nettle seeds as well. I love plants that pack a punch of vitamins and minerals. Cane.
Yes, I love stinging nettle. I know this is about to touch on that one next. I love stinging nettle. Like, I love how, like when you brew it, well, not so much brew it because you actually like when you steep it, when you steep the stinging nettle leaves, the green that it gives, I enjoy the taste of it. It has such like a refreshing green taste to it. It's so natural, like say, packed definitely with vitamins and minerals. I love it. I even like the bitter taste of some of the teas, like because it's just like I feel like you're tasting like the effects of it. I like being able to feel the differences with the teas, that are made and that are had. So yes, I gotta look. My work. I'm about to be in my books. I'm about to be writing stuff down. I'm about to be working definitely. Working again on an herbal pantry. Yes, I love it. I really enjoy it. And we had you remember we came across like the little crab apples when we were out there too. They were just the tartest little apples. It was like I call it nature's candy. That when
Mm-hmm.
we find certain things like that, we have found those crab apples, and so it's like nature's candy, like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so delicious, so delicious. Yes.
Remember when we were foraging? We were foraging on our land, and we came across. Now this may sound crazy. Remember, it was like a tree, but it had blueberries, or it had berries. They weren't blueberries, but they looked like blueberries, and we had jars of them. What was that? I don't think that was a bush because it was too high to be a bush.
It was like a wild blueberry tree.
And that's the thing. We ate them. We were fine. Nothing happened.
Gosh.
It was like a blueberry tree, and then all my life, I'm like, wait, blueberries grow on bushes. It was like a tree wall, and they look identical to blueberries, and they taste a lot like blueberries, but they were a little no, because blueberries are tart. They're not always sweet, but they
Yeah.
were more tart than they were sweet, and they were delicious. We would just go pick them or just eating them off the tree. And I think about it now because I feel like we only had those for one season. And then muscadines, I love
Oh
foraging.
my goodness. Yes.
Like I feel like if you had to in certain places, especially in Georgia, you could live off the amount of muscadines that you can find
Mm-hmm.
foraging. I
And
love
I'm sorry. And wild passion fruit. I think
we
like,
find it, but it never ripened.
and so it's different types from what I was learning, different types of passion fruit. The
Mm.
passion flower is usually going to let me see. I should have a picture somewhere. I was making sure to keep up with those because I was kind of freaking out when I found them. I was like, do y'all know what this is? And everybody's like, no. I was like, are you serious? Passion flower and like the passion fruit, they come in different varieties, like different species, I guess you could call them, or different like breeds and things. Um, and the ones that we had were just they look like limes. They look like a lime. It looked like a lime, but it
Mhm.
wasn't. It was the passion flower. I remember I cross-referenced it so many different times. I had all my books open and I'm just like, this is the flower. I'm like, this is the passion flower. And passion flower is great. It helps you to relax. Passion flower is good for high blood pressure.
Mm.
And the fruit itself, like, is tart. It has like a sweet and a tart on the inside. And oh my goodness gracious, I call things like that nature's candy. I'm like, this is the way that I'm like, the creator wanted for us to enjoy candy without, feeling guilty about it. Because I'm like,
Yes.
nature's candy. And so that I definitely enjoy doing, like harvesting those passion fruits, like, knowing when they're ready and being able to determine and then being able to enjoy them and eat them. Like, it's gonna give you, I remember like eating that like the natural finds we had, and it's like that's like say is highly packed with the vitamins and minerals that we need. So it's like you get a different type of, I would say, energy boost eating these natural things compared to, if you get them out of the store. There's a difference. There is a major difference.
There's a difference.
But yes, I enjoy that. Oh my gosh. Now I want to go foraging. I mean, I know it's cold now.
Mhm.
And that's something I think I'll try and look to as well. It's like, what can you find in the cold? Which
Yeah.
I would even just think about pine needles, pine trees.
Oh yeah.
Evergreen. They're always green. I mean, of course, you have to kind of time it with like the pine cones, but they have edibles on the inside. Acorns. But again, I think like going into the fall time, like, and I think it's going to cover acorns as well, and how to wash them, how to take care of them, and be able to have them as food. So yes, this is exciting. I feel like I'm getting ahead of myself with like ahead of the video. I do. I love talking about foraging and nature's food. Like
Yeah.
that is the way. Like again, like once what can be eaten, like what to avoid, then I feel like it becomes like less alarming. It's not like, oh my goodness, what if I eat this and it's poisonous? But like once you really have, and I would just say
Mhm.
like make sure that you know that you know that you know
Yeah.
and once you're confident, okay, that you can make the distinction between things, then be ready to like look at the foraging. But studying those books and getting into it, like having again, it's like little flashcards that will show, they give the picture, the
Yeah.
definition. They're ones that show how to separate the plant, how to prepare it. And I think just keeping something like that, even in like the and like in your survival stash,
Yeah, and
your
like you
and
said,
like
I
keep
agree.
different like survival books. I think that's important. Even how to start fires.
Oh yes, yes. 'Cause there are different ways to start, but like you say, you want to know a whole lot just in case you don't have matches, and
Mhm.
just in case you don't have the waterproof matches, just in case you don't have lighters. You want to let's see. I don't. You want to make sure you have that. What else? There was something else I was about to say. Um, about the storing of food. It just left me. It might come back. It might come back. But yes, the foraging. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. And just making sure you know what you're possibly allergic to. Like there are people who are allergic to ragweeds. There are people who will just get bad allergies with certain type of grass. And
Yeah.
that would just kind of get you familiar. I would just say get familiar with it because you don't want to go out there experiment and like you say and hurt yourself. You want to know
Right.
what it is you're allergic to. Um, and you want to know what you can eat when you can eat it. So it's definitely a lot of things out there that you can forage and eat. And foraging is very fun. It's very fun, especially if you know what you're looking for. That's what I was gonna say. And speaking of Let's Talk Survival, on our property, we used to have a snake book pinned up on the for like a better words, it was like a gazebo.
Hmm.
And that was there because we would see snakes out there, but we wouldn't always know which ones were um, dangerous, which ones were poisonous, because you could have a snake out there that's potentially dangerous, but that doesn't mean you should kill it because a lot of the times you may have snakes that eat poisonous snakes and you want to keep those around. Like black king snakes, they're not poisonous, they eat other snakes. They eat poisonous snakes. You want to keep those around. We didn't know that, so a lot of times our brothers were out there chopping them up left and right or shooting them left and right and then we had to learn we want to keep those around because they'll
Right.
eat the poisonous ones.
Yeah. Like I say, and having those charts, like not just for like you say the food, because just like
Mhm.
foraging is a lot of fun. You do also have to be on the lookout, especially depending on the season that you want to do foraging, is the bugs, the ticks, making
Yeah.
sure that you know how to prepare yourself for going out there. Foraging is fun. It is a lot of fun, but like you say, there has to be some safety, of course, incorporated in it.
Yeah.
Um, Especially if it's not like a controlled environment, if it's not something you cleared out yourself or anything like that.
Hmm.
Um, Definitely taking the necessary precautions of again, just safety, protecting against spider bites, different things like that, knowing how to tell the difference between if something has stung you or different things like that, and how to handle it, how to determine um again, on the skin, if it's irritated, if it's a natural reaction to getting stung by something, or if it could seem like it's more along the lines of either being
Hmm.
venomous or an allergic reaction. So though that part is not fun, that part does not sound fun whatsoever. It is necessary, again, just to make sure that you can have a fun, safe, and enjoyable time while foraging. But
Hmm.
also so you can know that when it comes, to survival, it does come with, I believe, I'll just say, like, even just, like, respecting nature and its space. The creation is just gonna do, it's gonna do what it does. So if it
Yeah.
feels threatened, it's just gonna like, oh my goodness, they're coming to get me, sting, so they don't, I can't say they don't mean you harm because that is kind of why they sting. But I will say they're just, again, just knowing what to look for. Um, and when it comes to foraging, just, again, certain books, I believe they should also be able to tell if a plant is sick and if
Yeah.
a plant is not the safest to eat and to, forest, because it's like, to forage, not forest, to forage. Um, if it could be, a possible danger, again, just because it might be a bit infected, it might be sick, or something might be wrong with it. So that
Hmm.
is just some other things, to definitely keep in mind. But I know we still got to get through, spring and stuff. I am looking forward to the warm time. I'm gonna tell you, right now, I'm looking forward to getting warm. Oh my goodness, I'm getting like excited just from the thought of like the warmer times coming around.
Hmm. Oh yeah, I look forward to that. Like I say, hiking, um, just being out in the elements. And like I say, the more knowledgeable you are, the more prepared you are for what's potentially dangerous out there. As I say, nature is beautiful, but you also have to understand and get to know it as well.
Yeah.
You got to get to know it. So, again, we were just talking about different things as far as survival, edible plants, and we definitely talked about some ones that were at first foreign to us, but then they became familiar. As little kids or little children, even some adults do not know that dandelion is edible. A lot of people don't even know that dandelion, the little leaves that we eat, they're in a lot of the salads. A lot of people don't know that, but at the same time, it's made to be that way on purpose, you all. This is why it's very important to just once you hear something about it, you may hear a little seed planted, do your due diligence to go look up those things because you never know. One day you may depend on that. Or you might be able to help somebody and say that actually is edible, but you can say if it's in certain cities, it's been sprayed, so you don't want to eat it. So any knowledge concerning our bodies and concerning our health is important. You know, health is wealth. It really is.
Yes.
All right, you all. And if there's anyone that is watching that might be having any problems with the commenting, I'm sorry because I'm not sure if I'm seeing everything. But if you are present, we ask if you like this, please like, comment, and subscribe if you have not already subscribed. If you're watching on Facebook, we encourage those that are on Facebook to move over to YouTube and subscribe if you would be so moved to do so. All right. So again, we usually go to around 1:30. So we're going to get ready to close this out soon. But yes, thank you, Todarba, for everyone that has, you know, took out of their busy schedule or their schedule or whatever it was you took out of and you came to listen to us. We definitely appreciate it. We hope that something was said that motivated you, that moved you, that inspired you. Let's see. Let's see. But yes, you have any more comments you would like to say on this before we close out?
Just say thank you to Darabah, to all those that have listened and um, that participated with the weekend, this or that with our icebreaker. On the input, just sharing your thoughts and the things that you enjoy, when it comes to either foraging or things that are known about how to have different survival kits together. And I hope and pray that something was said that will be encouraging, that would be thought provoking. And if it's something you are already doing, just continue to encourage you to keep doing what you're doing. And yes, Toda, for spending your time with us. I have enjoyed it. I was definitely getting hyped over the foraging and the herbs, and I was like, now I'm ready to go out and do foraging, but it's cold.
Yes.
So we gotta wait.
Cold.
So I'll be looking forward to that springtime coming through because that I feel like will also be a a great time and things like that. So yes, I have enjoyed this session. I have enjoyed it.
All right. So we're going to go ahead and get ready to close out. Do you see any extra comments on your side? If you have it pulled up, maybe on your phone, I just want to make sure that we're seeing everyone's comments before we leave out. I don't want to miss anything. I do believe on my side, I'm having a little bit of technical difficulties, but we do appreciate everyone for listening in. Again, we just talked a little bit about survival talk, a little bit about foraging, a little bit about prep boxes that you could put together for in the event, you may have a storm or a blackout, but do you see anything on your side or?
No.
Okay. All right, you all. So thank you for tuning in. I believe not a little later, but later at 8:00 p.m. Eastern Time, Maish and Chief Prince Zabulon will be going on Sage Talk. So we have a lot of things on our platform that we do in our ministry that we do. Stay tuned and subscribe so you can see what all is in store. And with that, I yield. Cain told our bye, everyone. And we pray that you have a great rest of your night. Shalom, shalom.
Shalom.
Yeah, yeah. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. I see a dream, that dream is green, and I don't mean material things. Freedom to the land, child, woman, and man, as we take up for what we stand. Better days and better nights, as we stand and unite. We're one and the same. Why is it so hard not to point and to blame? Better sheet, get our houses in order and we'll see the peace. There are steps that we must take if we wanna see.
I see my people rising, no more stopping us. A couple billion acres across America, us. The peace rose for the sake of us.
The sake of us, the
I
sake
see
of us.
my people rising, no more stopping us. A couple billion acres across America, us. The peace rose for the sake of us. No more feeling, telling, being beneath. What a beautiful moment, and a sight I can't wait to see. Even if I miss it, at least I wasn't part of the mission. Changing lives of men, women, and children. All glory goes to He that causes us all to be. Oh, and if they're thinking we can, we show them that just as long as we stand. A monument, we the people can't be broken as long as we stay focused. I see my people rising, no more stopping us. A couple billion acres across America, us. The peace rose for the sake of us. For the sake I see my people rising, no more stopping us. A couple billion acres across America, us. The peace rose for the sake of us. I see my people